old stuff. And, I mean, I wanted to tell you guys a story about why I'm feeling nostalgic. Let's start with Balloon Fight. I like Balloon Fight, and I think in particular, I want to play the Balloon Trip mode, which I think is underappreciated in the pantheon of video games. So, over the weekend, I think it was on Sunday, I made reference to playing old video game consoles, such as the Nintendo, the Super Nintendo, Nintendo 64. And I've always wanted to play them on stream or get footage of them, but never really did the legwork to figure out how it worked, or like how to get that going. And so I did some research, and it seemed like the easy way to do it was Elgato's got some instructions. I have an Elgato Game Capture HD, and the instructions seem simple enough. Like, use this adapter, plug all the cables in, and you should be good to go. And for me, it was not good to go. And so, anyway, I just died. This might be the first endless runner, the Balloon Trip mode, because it just keeps going. I don't think there's an end. You just kind of go, or at the very least, you go a really long time. And so I think regular Balloon Fight it's fine. It's kind of like a bootleg joust. But I've always liked this mode as a kid, just trying to zone out and get to the end without getting touched. It can get really hard. It actually does get really hard. Oh, come on. Whoa! Oh, man, snapped up. And so it got me down a rabbit hole. Like, actually tried it out. I tried to do the setup. I had the Super Nintendo out here a couple hours ago. I hooked everything up, and for like a split second, my computer sort of recognized that something was plugged in. And then it didn't work, and the TV said it said something I'd never seen before. It said out of range. So I'm pretty sure the TV recognized that something was plugged in, but it wasn't strong. The signal probably wasn't strong enough. So hooking it up the default way, not going to work. It then got me looking into some other potential options, and one of those was a composite to HDMI adapter. And going through the process of that, there are some really cheap ones. Like, you can get a composite to HDMI adapter for under 20 bucks, but apparently there are issues with conversion in terms of just like pixels being all distorted down to lag, and the price ranges wildly. The one I always hear about is the FrameMeister. Okay, we're gonna end this. I think we've had enough Balloon Fight here. Probably not gonna make for a great stream. I just want to play like old stuff. Here, let's play some Donkey Kong Jr. I know this is another one I like that I think is a little underrated. What was I talking about now? What were oh, the FrameMeister. I've heard a lot about the FrameMeister, but it's like over 300 bucks. And I am not in the market to pay over $300 to stream my retro gaming consoles at this point in time. And so, I mean, there's just a big difference in cost, potentially in performance, or like presumably in performance as well. And I'd like to do it. It's a lot more work than I thought it would be. And I mean, I guess you got to do it if you want to stream. But like, man, it would be awesome to get streaming of those old games going, because I have a lot of old games between the NES I don't think will work because it doesn't run on composite, but between the Super Nintendo, the Nintendo 64, and the GameCube, I can stream a lot of different stuff. And I'm probably going to get the N64 and the GameCube back from my brother, who's not really doing anything with that stuff right now. And I asked him, like, hey... Okay, we suck Donkey Kong Jr. if he was doing anything with it, and it's just kind of sitting in a box in the basement. So I could take it back here and add it to my collection, which would be great. But I really want to be able to stream that stuff, kind of get some extra value out of it. Like, sure, I like being able to play that stuff, but I think being able to also stream it and share that experience with you guys would really bring that stuff up to the next level for me and breathe new life into that. Because there are a lot of games that, as great as consoles like the Nintendo 64, or not the Nintendo 64 Classic, I'm just speculating again. As great as the NES Classic can be, the Super NES Classic, I know Sega and Atari have their kind of own versions of the retro console. There's a lot of games on those platforms as well that will never make it and never get re-released, and it's a shame that those games are lost to time if you cannot. We gotta beat this level. We gotta beat this level. That I'd love to share that you just won't be able to see anywhere else. So, like, one of my last retro game purchases was Weapon Lord on the Super Nintendo, and that game is pretty ahead of its time. Okay, we're just gonna stop right there on the Donkey Kong Jr. I'm not as good as I thought it was, and that's totally fine. Yeah, Weapon Lord, totally ahead of its time. Really cool game, but I think I can't remember who publishes it, but that game's never coming back. Like, let's be real here. I mean, we got some obvious classics here. I want to play just, like, light stuff. Like, Star Tropics, the last time I played it was really cool. But yeah, that's such a deep, involved game. I mean, we could just play some Super Mario Zone out. Alright, here's what we're gonna do.